This is Crypto Basics by Kryptonite. Kryptonite is a team of young crypto enthusiasts who envision bridging the crypto divide so that everyone may be a part of the big change to come. Crypto Basics is a podcast series with the founder of Kryptonite, Dr. Khan Nariala, who is also a crypto guru. And I am Divya Swami, your host. Hi, Dr. Kant.
Hi, Divya. Hi.
Yeah,
I
I'd
was
like to tell
I
our
was blushing a little when you called me a crypto guru. I don't know what that means, but I hope to live up to those standards. Yeah.
I'm sure you will. For our listeners, the questions that we ask Dr. Kant, the questions our listeners leave in the comment section below the podcast. So if you have any questions at the end of this podcast, or you wish to know a little more about Kryptonite and anything more about cryptocurrencies, do leave a comment and we will get back to you in our next podcast.
Awesome. That'll be wonderful, actually. The more people we hear back from, I'm happier because I will know what exactly you're thinking and what are the questions you have. We want to make this podcast useful. Yeah.
Yes. So Dr. Kant, what I would like to ask you today is that the trump card of cryptocurrencies is that it enables anonymous transactions across the globe, where you can never quite trace back who transferred how much and for what purpose. So in a very recent move, you have some major South Korean banks who've requested Bitcoin exchanges to make user information public, and on the pretext of having more transparent transactions. So how do you think, how do you think it would help Bitcoins to be traded more easily? Or do you think doing away with the anonymity clause could be problematic for a lot of cryptocurrency enthusiasts?
Yeah. So that's a good question. It was going to be happening sooner or later anyway. The government is not going to give up on taxes, and they want to know how much money people made. And if everybody says, hey, Bitcoin is a currency, then that's money. Then the money you make in Bitcoins, you are liable to pay taxes. You can't, on one hand, keep promoting Bitcoin as a cryptocurrency, and when the government comes after you, say, oh, why should I pay taxes? So I know that a lot of people these days don't like big government, big companies, and so on and so forth. Nor does anybody really like taxes. So barring a fundamental tax-related revolution, which is also probably likely in the future, I think people are just fed up with government taking quote unquote our money and misusing it, mishandling it, etc., etc. To think that they can consistently take our money and the fact that we are saying government is they and we are us is already a fundamental problem. Government is supposed to be of the people, by the people, for the people, if I can quote the Kennedys. I think John Kennedy. So bottom line is government will want taxes, and which means they will want transparency on transactions, which means a certain degree of anonymity will go away. What do I mean by a certain degree? I mean, I can envision, now that we have this technology of blockchain, a lot of things that were not possible before suddenly become possible. Imagine that we are coloring transactions. There are green colored transactions and red colored transactions. Now, obviously, I'm oversimplifying the state of the world. The red color transactions are what would be deemed illegal by the government, and the green color ones are the ones that are deemed legal by the government. So, and now you throw a blanket over all your transactions. So that means so long as all your transactions were green, right? Then all that the government wants to see is the final result. At the end of the year, what are your net income that you made in the year that is taxable? And then they figure out a tax bracket, and then you press a button and you transfer some crypto tokens to the government wallet and you're done, right? So that is where I'm thinking this will all eventually end up with. So people will continue to pay taxes. Government will be happy because they know those two things. Number one is all the money was made legally and there is no money laundering and stuff like that. And number two, they know how much money you made so that you can pay taxes on that. So the government's requirements are met. And for you, you got some degree of anonymity. You cannot just say, hey, you don't need to know anything I do. Unlikely to happen. So the transactions have a little switch that says, hey, all the transactions were green, or there were 5 transactions that were red. And that's why I meant by limited anonymity. If there are either gray transactions or red transactions, an authorized person, namely the big brother government, can press a button and open up those 5 transactions and see that if there was anything illegal there, for example. So that's really how I see it. So my summary is regulations are bound to happen. People will have to pay taxes on their crypto incomes, which means there's going to be a certain loss of anonymity because there's reporting of income made. But then I'm also hoping that in future there will be some kind of a limited degree of anonymity. And that whole thing is prefaced by the fact until there is some kind of a tax revolution, this will go on.
Well, thank you, Dr. Kant. And also in India, we're waiting for the government to roll out its new budget to see how much they'd be taxing transactions done through cryptocurrencies, because we're in a country that citizens are required to pay the highest amount of tax. Our government is one of the governments in the world that levies huge amounts of tax on its citizens. So the momentum that cryptocurrencies would take to be adopted by Indians depends on the Indian budget. Thank you, Dr. Kant.
Awesome. Great.
I would like to tell our listeners to rate us on different platforms that we have our podcasts on. Thank you.
Rate us, share us, ask us questions. Thank you very much.